Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into how you can take your everyday Zoom call and seriously level it up into a professional, super engaging virtual classroom. Let's get you teaching like a seasoned pro.
So, here's the big question, right? We've all been there. How do you keep students locked in, participating, and actually learning when you're all staring at screens? Well, it's not magic. The secret is really just mastering the tools you already have, and in this case, we're talking about Zoom.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll cover setting the stage, all that crucial prep work. Then we'll build your virtual studio so you look and sound amazing. After that, it's all about commanding the classroom with the host controls, sparking teamwork through fostering collaboration, and we'll wrap it all up with a super handy pro teacher checklist.
Okay, let's jump right into section 1, setting the stage. You know, a great class doesn't just happen. Just like a real classroom, it all starts with building a solid foundation before anyone even logs on.
First things first, let's talk scheduling. When you're in the Zoom web portal, you'll see an option for a recurring meeting. You definitely want to check that box. Think of it like booking a permanent classroom for the whole semester. You set the name and the time and the recurrence once, and boom, your students always have one single link to get to class. Easy.
Now, this is your virtual security detail, and trust me, these 3 are non-negotiable. The passcode? That's the lock on your classroom door. The waiting room is your lobby. It lets you check who's there before you let them in. And requiring authentication? That's like having a hall monitor checking student IDs. Use all 3 together, and you've created a safe, secure space for learning.
All right, moving on to section 2. Now that we've built the classroom, it's time to focus on you, the teacher. We're going to set up your personal virtual studio so you can present like a total pro.
Okay, this right here, this is probably the single biggest and easiest thing to fix. We've all seen that up-the-nose angle from a laptop sitting on a desk. The solution is so simple. Just grab a stack of books or a cardboard box and raise that laptop until the camera is right at eye level. Look at the difference. It goes from being awkward and distant to a direct personal connection. It feels like you're actually talking to them. This quote absolutely nails our next point: lighting. That overhead ceiling light might seem fine, but on camera, it casts these really weird, harsh shadows under your eyes. It's a classic mistake, but thankfully, the fix is just as simple as the camera angle one.
So, here's the secret. Your main light source has to be in front of you. That's it. It could be a window you're facing or even just a simple lamp you put on your desk behind your screen. Generally, bigger, softer light is always better. And a quick tip, keep the other lights in the room on. That'll fill in the shadows and give you a much more natural, balanced look.
Your background really only has one job. Don't be a distraction. We want your students focusing on you and the lesson, not on that pile of laundry or the cluttered bookshelf in the corner. Just find a simple, tidy spot. Remember, the camera only sees a tiny little rectangle of your room, so it's pretty easy to make one small corner look totally professional.
And finally, let's talk about sound. Looking good is great, but sounding clear is absolutely essential. Your laptop's built-in mic will get the job done in a pinch, sure, but investing in a simple, plug-and-play USB microphone is a massive, massive upgrade. The clarity makes a world of difference for your students.
Okay, deep breath. The prep is done, your studio is looking sharp, and students are joining the call. Welcome to Section 3. This is where we learn how to use the host controls to really command the classroom and keep things running smoothly.
Think of these 3 tools as your mission control panel. When you need to start a lecture and get everyone's focus, hit mute all. No more background noise. When you want to run a focused Q&A, use manage chat to control who can talk and when. And of course, screen share is your digital projector. Mastering these 3 is pretty much the foundation for running a great class.
Now here's a little pro tip that feels weird at first, but makes a huge difference. Your instinct is to look at the faces of your students on the screen, right? But to them, that looks like you're looking down. To create real, genuine eye contact, you have to train yourself to look at that tiny little green dot, the camera lens itself. It's a game changer for connection.
All right, for Section 4, we're diving into one of Zoom's most powerful features for educators. Seriously, if you want to go beyond just lecturing and get your students actually working together, breakout rooms are an absolute must. So what are they? It's actually a really cool concept. As the host, you can instantly split your one big meeting into up to 50 completely separate, smaller video meetings. This is perfect for small group discussions, brainstorming sessions, anything where you want students to collaborate.
And setting them up is way easier than it sounds. First, you just have to make sure you've enabled the feature in your main Zoom settings online. After that, you've got options. You can pre-assign students to groups before class even starts, which is a huge time saver, or you can do it on the fly, either letting Zoom randomly create the groups or you can manually assign students yourself. Once the breakout rooms are active, you're still in full control. You can actually pop into any of the rooms to check in on their progress, just like you'd walk around a physical classroom. You can send a text broadcast to every single room at once with instructions or a time warning, and when you're ready, one click on Close All Rooms brings everybody right back to the main session.
Phew, we have covered a ton of ground. So for this final section, let's just boil it all down. This is your ultimate pre-flight checklist to run through before every single class you teach.
And here it is. It really comes down to these key things. Always schedule with security first, get that camera at eye level and light your face from the front, use your host controls to keep the class on track, leverage breakout rooms to get students talking to each other, and finally, look at that camera lens to build a real connection. If you can nail these 6 points, you're going to be in fantastic shape.
You know, getting good at these tools isn't just about making today's classes better, it's about being ready for whatever comes next. And it really makes you wonder, right? As this technology just keeps getting better and better, what new doors are going to open up for teaching? What's the virtual classroom of tomorrow really going to look like? It's pretty exciting to think about. Thanks so much for watching.